People, make sure that you go ahead and check out the B-Line Entertainment Stuff and Things shop. We got all merchandise that you're looking for. Everything to promote the show. That's right, from hats to glasses to cups to sweatshirts to t-shirts, you name it. Boys, girls, babies, whoever wants to show off that they love watching the B-Line Entertainment LLC. We can't wait to see you in your brand new gear. Come on and check it out today. Let's go! Listen. Yo, check it out, people. It's another Tuesday. We back at it tonight. It is 9 o'clock. 9 o'clock somewhere, right? 9 o'clock somewhere. Yo, it's 9 o'clock here because it is time for the B-Line Web Show. Let's go. We back at it. I'm really happy to have another week down in the books, yo. Really trying to stay on this consistency kick. And we've been killing it, man, over here at the B-Line Entertainment LLC, man. I got a whole bunch of new packages. Hope you guys enjoy them. Trying to explain to you deeper and deeper what we are and who we be. If you know, then you know that you should go over to YouTube and you should like and you should share and you should subscribe to the channel on YouTube because we over there, man. We got a lot of stuff going over there. All of our content, every show that we host. That is 3 shows throughout the week. You have Tuesday nights. You have the B-Line Web Show where we talk this, that, do interviews, a whole bunch of different stuff. Then, of course, tomorrow night, we talking wrestling, baby. It's straight through the ropes wrestle talk with the STR Nation in the building. It's going to be an amazing show tomorrow. Make sure you check that out at 9 o'clock p.m. And then on Thursday nights, yo, speaking of Thursday night, I got a guest with me tonight. Thursday night, he on with me tonight as well on Tuesday. And we're going to get to know him a little bit better. Hopefully, everything is good. You guys can hear me okay. I see the Wi-Fi is acting wonky, but we'll fix that. But yo, listen, I got a guest with us today. We're gonna get to know him a little bit better. But he also hosts the entertainment show on Thursday nights at 9 o'clock p.m. where we talk all things entertainment, and then of course do the top 5 and movie reviews and a watch list and everything like that. But yo, listen. It is Tuesday. It is the B-Line Web Show. This is the OG show, the show that I started 5 years ago. And we still going strong, bro. Never losing pace. But, yo, you want to see a little bit more from it? Let's go!
Straight to the point, baby.
It's going down in
3, 2, 1.
People, that's your boy!
Brian B.
Let's go.
Back on the B-Line. I'm looking forward to it. I'm so excited.
Is the influence you have.
Again with Lakers!
You gotta be a queen to baby's ass.
Hold on real quick.
Knows the hands of fate.
People, it's your boy, Brian B. Welcome to the B-Line Web Show. Let's go! Oh yeah. Do you see me? You can't see me? Oh, I can see you. Can you see? Here I come. There I go. Here I come. Yo, guys, what's good? Hey, listen, I feel good tonight. Hopefully, you guys feel good too. But listen, I'm not alone. Like I said, yo, I host a show with this guy every week. We've been doing it for a while. I've known this guy for a while. Really, really awesome dude, man. We have really good combos, and he's always given a very, unique side of perspective. He's very honest. He's very open. And that's why I wanted to have him on the show tonight, man. We host the entertainment show every Thursday. and really glad that he can come on and share with us a little bit about his life. We're gonna get to know him on the show tonight. So without further ado, from the A for Able podcast, baby, over there on YouTube, it's in the comments. Make sure you go check it out, follow him, like him, subscribe to him, and check out what he's talking about. It's my man, Kyle Eric. What up, Kyle?
It's good, B.
That's good, bro. Man, I had to check the calendar, bro, because I'm seeing the red and the black, and I'm like, wait a minute. It ain't Thursday. Kyle on here. What up, Kyle?
What's good, bro?
Chilling, man. Got off of work earlier today, man, and work, we have our conversations before we do the ENT show.
Yeah.
Kind of catch up with each other. But yeah, man, I'm doing good, bro. I feel real good. It's Tuesday. This is our OG show. And first off, welcome. I think I've had you on the web show in the past.
I think like once or twice in the past. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. But I appreciate you coming on tonight. I'm looking forward to having everybody get to know you on this episode. And just let me know if there's anything that, if you don't want to talk about, it's cool. But
I'm pretty much an open book, dude.
Yeah. Kyle, you're pretty open, man. The one thing I do like about you, bro, is you definitely you're always yourself. And I appreciate that. Like, because as you know, when we do a lot of these shows, man, we meet a lot of people and you get a lot of unique personalities, yo. And one thing that I can say about you is you never try to like change your character to try to fit into a situation or maybe fit in more to like a conversation. And I always respected the shit out of that, bro. I always respect that.
I figure like the older we get, the more you try to figure out. We're always trying to figure out different things about ourselves, right? I didn't really know myself really until I hit my 30s, dude. So and every day I'm learning something new. So I'd rather be just me, just be real, just be honest instead of trying to be somebody that I'm not.
Listen, bro, listen, I wish more people would take that advice, man, because it's really good advice. But Kyle, man, I want to have you jump on first before we start anything, and I want you to just go ahead and give a quick introduction of yourself, what you do, where you're from, and let's rock and roll with it, man.
All right. Well, hello and how are you? My name is Kyle Eric. I am a freelance audio video editor and podcaster. Been doing this for a while. Mostly do it for fun, but I've helped out a lot of cool people over the years. Met some cool people like Brian over here, thanks to podcasting and thanks to being an audio and video geek, So, and I'm a nerd for life. So that's pretty much, that's me in a nutshell. I'm just a nerd going through life, man.
Yeah. And listen, and I appreciate it, bro, because I am as well, man. And a lot of times, I don't think maybe not as much now. And I've had this conversation before on the show, like, the term nerd, you know what I'm saying? It went through a lot of transitions, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you think we 90s kids, right? Like you think nerd back in the day, first person you think, I don't know if y'all remember, but you thinking, did I do that? And Urkel, baby. Remember Steve Urkel?
You think Urkel, you think Carlton, you think the stereotypical pocket protector 80s and 70s nerds, big glasses, calculators, high water pants, calculators, all that, all that stuff, and and that's it. But truth be told, everybody got a nerd in them,
Yeah, for real. Man.
Shoot.
And I do like the fact that it is more open. People are more open about, kind of nerding out on the stuff they like, man. Whether it be, as I always point out, y'all see the wall back here. Like, I love stuff, man. I literally have empty cartons of juice on my wall right now, bro, because they got wrestlers on them. Y'all know they sponsoring WWE right now. So it's like I got the juice up there. And it's like you said, Kyle, it's like, why not, man? It's like, you have a passion about something and you want to explore it, you want to engage in it, man. And it was kind of frowned upon if you weren't the jock, if you weren't like getting all the girls and stuff like that back in the day or whatever. Like that's what your reputation kind of spoke for or whatever. Oh, I get man, listen, I get all the girls, I get this, I do this. How do you find like that era now? Like, seeing that it's a little less common that people are judging people in those ways.
There are times where I look at the generation after us, right? And I get a little jealous,
Mm,
just a little jealous because I grew up where a lot of this stuff was not accepted. Like case in point. Like I love anime.
yeah,
Absolutely love anime, but only do I love anime, I love animation. Period. I love the process. I love voice acting. I love all of that process. Whereas before, I'd get immediately teased for it, and it
yeah,
still happens in some cases. But now it's a lot more accepted. It's a lot more mainstream. You see anime characters at the Macy's Day Parade. You
that's
see
right.
you see you see athletes coming out as anime fans, or otaku, as I like to call them, otaku or
Mm,
weebs. You know what I'm saying? They come out as strong anime fans too,
yeah,
and people try to call them out on their fandom, like for example, Megan the Stallion, huge anime fan,
that's right.
huge,
Yeah,
right?
yes, it is.
Huge anime fan,
That
and people
cosplay is gorgeous too. I ain't gonna lie.
facts, and people call her out all they try to call her out all the time. It's like, oh,
Yeah,
this rapper with this, with this rapper from this, with this song, blah blah blah, and she got bars, and you're an
yeah,
anime head. Come on, like come on, like,
yeah.
but because of, or like someone like a Michael B. Jordan, or even Kanye West, they're all anime heads, you know.
And you know what? And Kyle, like you
Yeah,
said, to your point, bro, we've been watching cartoons and stuff like that our whole lives, especially coming from the 80s and the 90s and stuff like that or whatever. Like
yep,
that's
yep,
just in our blood, man.
yep,
And
exactly,
so many people grew up
yep,
with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like anime is one. Of course, you got like some of the classics, especially in America, like where even if you weren't watching like the Japanese ones, or just directly from their origin, you were still watching Pokemon, you was watching
yep,
Sailor Moon, you was
yep,
watching Dragon Ball Z. So it's like you had some
exactly.
kind of connection. But you are right, it was like kind of stereotype, like it was a genre of kids who were engaging in that stuff, playing magic cards and doing all this other stuff or whatever that I
Yep.
think it was shunned a little bit more previously, but I feel
Yeah.
like, and we're not in school anymore, but I mean, just my
Yeah.
kids are in school. Sometimes I question my kids, and I'm like, hey, do y'all get picked on, or do they still pick on kids for wearing this or that or whatever? And they always say no. Like, I don't know if they're lying, but I mean, they usually don't really have as many conversations about stuff like that. So I don't know, man. It seems
Nah,
like a lot
because
more
it's
people are more
so
accepting.
yeah, exactly. It's become a lot more accepted. Like, like
Stigma
shout
isn't
out
as
to my
bad.
cousin Rick in the
What
comments.
up,
Yeah,
Rick?
it is easier to be a geek nowadays because the stigma isn't as bad as it used to be. That's facts.
Yeah,
The stigma is still kind of there, but because you have more people out in proud, like, what I'm saying, about what they love, i.e. anime, or like cartoons and geeky stuff, like geeky stuff in general.
yeah.
Like you think,
Shout
like
out,
people.
JC.
What's up, JC? Yeah, I did an interview with him yesterday.
Yeah,
And
I heard.
yeah, we didn't get too much into the anime stuff, but we got into like life stuff, which is awesome.
That's cool. Yes,
Either
that's
way.
always cool. We're gonna get into some stuff tonight too.
Oh yeah,
But
most
yeah,
definitely.
go ahead. Continue your thought right there,
Yeah,
because that was good.
but it's just like especially with us, the millennials. We are the nostalgic generation. you
Yeah,
know we're
for
the
real.
we are the nostalgic generation. So when I hear people say like, oh, cartoons are for kids, or you still like that stuff, or like, because occasionally I'll get it, but I'm like, well, yeah, it's a part of me.
Yeah,
I would say this all the time, like, I never grew out of stuff, it just grew up with me.
that's right.
My interest evolved from just watching anime or like different cartoons or whatever, to wondering how it was made in the first place, you know?
And you know what's awesome about, like you said, we are the nostalgic era,
Yeah.
and a big portion of that is because I think we're one of the first generations who were able to go back and revisit their era so vividly. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like I literally, when I went on break at work today, I went into my room and I just laid down. I was like tired of sitting on my ass and
Mhm.
behind a computer all day. So I
Yep.
just laid down, I put my phone down and I just put on TV and I watched like Pluto TV and stuff like that. Like,
Yep.
just the online channels. And
Mhm.
they had the old Power Rangers. They got a whole channel that's just dedicated to the old Power Rangers. And
Yep.
I put that on for like 25 minutes and I just watched it. And I was watching it, Kyle. I was watching it, and it was a two-parter, and I
Yep.
finished one, and
Mhm.
I had to go back to work, and I'm sitting there like, damn, I want to watch, I want to see what happened. Like, I don't remember everything.
You don't
And
remember
I'm like,
everything.
I want to see what happened. I was engaged,
Yeah.
and I was getting that nostalgic feeling of like, I remember getting off from school and rushing home to
Yep.
watch the Power Rangers.
Yep.
Yo, we get to relive that same shit now. It's
Yeah.
coming on TV, same thing like it did before.
Yeah, and you get to share
Crazy.
it. You get to share it with your kids,
That's
and
right.
I get to share it with my nieces and nephews. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? That like the nerd gene kind of runs deep in my family, and I didn't realize that until like I started hanging with my cousin again. You know, so
Yeah.
it's so I love that. You know.
That's awesome. Hey,
Mhm.
and speaking of that, I wanted to take advantage of this episode because listen, if you guys want to hear me and Kyle nerd out on some shit, go over to Thursday night. We'll be there. We gotta have a great show this Thursday as well at
An
9:00
entertainment show,
p.m.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, man. But I wanted to really let you kind of like tell your side of the story, man. Tell a little bit about your life and your history and like,
Yep.
just where you from and everything, bro. But let's start here. Like where are you from? So where you from? Where'd you grow up and start there?
I was born and raised in a city called Waterbury, Connecticut. Um, yeah, born and raised there, and still still to this day live there. And it's a city, right? Some people call it a town, but it's kind of like a mid-size. It's a mid-sized city. We're like right in the middle of Connecticut, right?
Okay.
Only takes us about 2 hours to get to New York. So some people think, oh, you think New York, because they're like, what's a Waterbury, right?
Yeah, hey, listen, I wouldn't know anything. There's a million little cities. Everybody thinks that they have this knowledge of the map. Like, you go most places, you don't know where the fuck you at. Like,
When you hear some of these town names though, or
yeah,
like city names, it's like who named that? But we're not the
bro.
only place with a Waterbury, so you have to specify it's Waterbury, Connecticut. You know.
Okay, okay.
So
All right.
yeah, so I'm a dude from from Waterbury, Connecticut, and I have to specify that because when people think Connecticut who don't live here or outside of Connecticut, they automatically think the rich part of Connecticut.
Mm,
I ain't from the
that's
rich
what I
part of
thought.
Connecticut. I'm
Stanford and all that, the fucking college or whatever.
yo,
Oh, I
I
know what
am not I am
oh,
not
shit.
from the rich part of Connecticut. I have been through the rich part or parts
Yeah.
of it, sure, but I am nowhere near the rich part of
Is it
Connecticut.
hood? Is it hood, Kyle? You live in the
It
hood?
can be. Yeah, every place got a hood.
People getting stuck up.
Every place got a hood. Is it stuck up? You meet people like that all the time. Personally, I don't think so. There are parts of the places that are that are ghetto and stuff like that, and that's why some people think that
Rick
wait a
said
minute.
Waterbury made famous by an episode of Family
Episode of
Guy.
Family
Oh
Guy.
shit, really? Oh damn. Okay, I didn't know that. Yeah, we
Yeah,
gotta watch it now.
they make off-color jokes, and it's like like it's out of nowhere, right?
Yeah, I love Family Guy.
Yeah,
Hey, listen, B-Line, we're never gonna be able to escape entertainment. That's all we're gonna talk about, bro. This is our
yeah,
shit. But
yeah, but
I'm
yeah,
gonna try to stay on topic. So
yep,
Kyle,
yeah,
one thing about you is that I also want to talk about your podcast, bro,
yes,
because
mhm,
you have a podcast that I think is very influencing.
mhm.
I've watched a couple of your episodes. I'm really glad to see that you're doing more. But from what I watched, you have a very strong voice in your community. Let's
Huh.
start touching on some of that, if you don't mind.
Mhm.
Let's talk about your background as far as like your history and you growing up and everything like that.
Oh, sure, sure, sure. Okay. So yeah. So
The Liam
where my
Neeson
pod
episode. Okay. Liam Neeson.
where my podcast started, my podcast is called A for Able. And the reason I started the podcast in the first place was at the suggestion of my aunt. So I was born with a disability. I have cerebral palsy, right?
Okay.
I have cerebral palsy, and in my case, it affected my hips. I have what's known as spastic dysplasia. And And I had, I had recently moved from my parents' place to my own, to my own spot, and I was doing my entertainment podcast called On the Brain ENT, where we, where me and my friends would nerd out about, everything, right? We would have like 3 different shows talking about anime, talk about like entertainment in general, stuff like that. And
Yeah.
one day my aunt was like, "Why don't you do a podcast about living with CP?" Because there wasn't that many till this day. There still isn't that many about disabilities. I mean, they're out there, yeah,
Yeah.
but she thought I had a unique perspective, so she said, "Hey, why not? Why not? Do a show like that?" And the thing about that is, I had never gotten that personal
Yeah.
on my show. I mean, the most I would say is, yes, I do have a disability, but I never really got like personal with it and, explaining my story and everything else like that. So after thinking about it for a while and then coming up with the title, it took me days to come up with
Trying to be catchy and witty
yeah,
and shit, right?
it took
I
me
feel you.
days to come up with a title that I felt like it worked. And
Yeah.
then one day at about 11 p.m., I put a couple of my family members on a group chat, and I'm like, "Yo, A for Abled," right? And they're like, "That's it. That's it."
It's a good
Right?
name. It's
That's
a good
it.
name for real.
And I thank you. And then first episode happened October 2019 on World's Cerebral Palsy Day, National Cerebral Palsy Day. And I didn't even know, truth be told, I didn't even know that was a thing. I had no
Yeah.
clue.
I've never heard of it either.
I just happened to be online and I saw some articles about it, and it was on the exact day that I recorded my first episode. And my first episode was with my mother and my sister. And the point of the episode was to talk about, what's it like from their perspective living with a son with a disability and a brother with a disability. So it, so we talked, and it was the first time me and my mom had, that kind of talk, and it was
Yeah.
just
On air?
yeah, yeah, because
Okay.
my mom has a podcast too.
Yeah.
Shout out to New Path Wellness Group, and
Awesome.
I helped her with that. But like I said, this is the most candid I've ever been on a show. So after that went well, and then I started, I started asking other people to tell their stories because I knew a lot of people with different challenges and differences. So I didn't want to just focus on me and the fact that I had CP. I wanted to focus
Yeah.
on people in general, because the fact is, this world is not it's not made for people with disabilities.
And that's one of the things that I wanted to talk with you about too, because me knowing you over time, I've heard you say that before.
Yeah.
And I can understand, like, there's definitely challenges with being
Mhm.
different or having something that is different from other people, or regularly. But
Yeah.
so like what do you mean exactly when you do say that? Like, just a little bit more expressive.
Okay. So it's like this, and I can only say this from my perspective.
Yeah.
But
No, for real.
when I was growing up in the 90s, the resources were there, but we didn't know. My parents were young when they had me, and I got diagnosed pretty much months after I was born.
Okay.
Right? The doctors counted me out right away.
Oh man,
Okay.
it's not to cut you off. We're gonna stay on that
Go
point,
ahead.
please.
Go ahead.
But it's really crazy how many people that I know
Yeah.
that have that same experience, like, or at least
Yeah.
something similar, and it's
Yep.
always that story, bro. Like, it's very rare that I hear the opposite. Like, hey, the doctors were 100%, like, they were with me, they were ready to see me through. But
Mhm.
it's always that the doctors are like, no, we don't know, we don't. I don't know if it's like some kind of medical thing that they have to do. But I've heard that shit a lot of times, man. Even my brother, he had a liver transplant when he was 2 years old, 2 or 3 years old, and
Mhm.
it was the same thing. Like, oh man, we don't know if he's gonna do this or whatever. We don't know how it's gonna be, and it's
But
crazy.
that's the thing. You don't know. Just
Yeah,
because there are cases of, I mean, let's face facts. There's no guarantee that anybody's going to survive being born, period.
anything. Yeah,
Okay.
mother or child.
So, like, it's so whether you are considered, normal or not, or able bodied, that shouldn't matter, because the only thing that's guaranteed in this world is death.
That's
Okay,
right.
and I hate to put it that way, but that's the
It's
only
got
thing
dark.
that
It's
we
got dark in this.
that is one of the few things that all beings on this planet share.
Yeah.
That is one thing that we all have in common. So I ain't got no. So I have,
Rick said he almost.
Rick.
I almost didn't
Uh-huh.
make it up there too. Oh damn.
Yeah. See, so so like I ain't got no time to be counting people out. You know
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
saying?
right.
I ain't got no time. I
Absolutely.
ain't got no time to be counting people out. So apparently I didn't know this until I was older.
Yeah.
But
Your
according to
mom
my
and them, they kind of talk to you about it.
they talked to me about it, later on. They're like, yeah, the doctors wanted to count you out. Okay. First off, like I said, my mom was young when she had me.
Yeah.
Secondly, the information that they had at the 90s versus what they have now,
Oh man,
completely
yeah,
different.
night and day, bro. Yeah.
Completely different. So I went through the public school system, and they were expecting me to be, in a wheelchair, which I have done time in a wheelchair, many times. They expected me to be in a wheelchair, or have issues speaking, or have issues walking, or have it. And yes, I will say to a certain extent that's fair, but that's not every case. And I am
Yeah.
not a rarity. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But because you're only exposed to one type, instead of figuring out that there's a spectrum, I would later find out that there's a spectrum. I didn't even know that my type of CP had a name, you
Yeah.
know? So yeah, so I went through that a lot, a lot as a kid, to a point where, and I was so timid, and also, we grew up saying to our, like, being taught that you respect your elders, right?
Yeah.
So who were my elders? My elders were my teachers in school. You know what I'm saying? So there would be times where they would, like, take off my jacket and stuff for me when I went in class, and I wouldn't stop them. And
Oh,
it wasn't because I was lazy or anything. It was just because, like, okay, like
like you
they're
needed it, but you could have just did it yourself. You mean like?
I could have already, but
Yeah.
they said respect your elders. My elders wanted to help me, so so to me it was like, this is what they do. And then one day
Hmm.
they call my mom. It's like, he's not taking off his jacket on his own. Can he take off his jacket on his own? And he's like, of course. And my mom's like, of course he can. Why? Well, because the teachers keep taking them off for him. And my mom said, well, if I was getting that kind of service, I would let him too. You
Listen,
know?
bro. It's crazy. I'm just thinking like your mom right now. Like it's
Exactly.
it's a really weird thought process that I think people face. I think certain people get faced with um trying to be polite,
Yep.
or like, trying to be respectful, whatever one works.
Yeah.
You get in a situation where, like, you hand like if I'm holding the door open for somebody, here's a crazy example, but if
Yep.
I'm holding the door open for somebody, you holding the door open for somebody. I'm the kind of guy, I'm gonna walk through the door, I'm gonna hold the door open for you. I don't care, no
Same.
arms, no legs, whatever. I'm gonna hold the fucking door open for you.
Yeah.
Then you'll get to certain people, like, if a guy's coming through and he has no arms and I'm holding the door open for him, he
Mhm.
may take that some type of way because his perspective is so different from mine. Like,
Because his
I'm not
perspective
seeing
is
it.
different. Yeah.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
don't we
Or you
don't know
or you have
what
the
we don't know what he went through. We don't know what he
That's
might
right.
be holding in, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
it's, so me, I open the door for everybody because they've opened the door for me. I
Yeah.
learned that and I was in private school for about 3 years of my life, and I remember holding the door open for the whole class because I thought it was the right thing to do. Like, everybody would do it at some point, but at some point I would just run to the door just to open the door. You
Yeah.
know, that's it. And that's carried on into life. I don't care if you're guy, girl, whatever, 2 arms, 3 arms, I don't care. Point
For
is,
real.
we're all trying to get somewhere. Let me help you out,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know?
and I'm first, and if I'm here, then here I'm holding it open for you. Like, I see you. Now if you getting out your car and parking it and shit, I'm not gonna stand there for an hour. But yeah, if I'm right there and you walking with me, I'm definitely holding it for you. But
That's it. Yeah.
yeah. So I definitely understand what you mean, bro. And it's like, do you feel? I mean, from your perspective,
Mhm.
and just to give you, like, like I said, an understanding, like, I've spoken with, like, people who come on with, with different, situations in this show. And
Yep.
I had Dre on Wheel. Shout out to 1130
Ray on
podcast. He
Wheels,
came
shout
on.
out, man.
Yeah, man. He came on. He talked about his life and his condition and like, different, the stages of his life and with his son. And so it's just very eye opening, bro. Because I talk to you guys all the day, all the
Yep.
time. And to be honest with you, I never even think about it. We talk about a whole bunch of stuff, but it
Yep.
still is it's a part of your life, man. And it's like I'm interested even just to see like what challenges you have to go through or what like situations are just different that I go through, whatever. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting.
Aside from a few things, I'm pretty much, I'm just like anybody. I'm just a person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, like for example, okay, so my walk is like this, right? So when
Just kind of sideways.
I gotta have
Like,
it, yeah, because my right side is weaker than my left. So my left side kind of has to compensate for my right, you know?
yeah.
So as a result, I kind of walk like a penguin. So
Okay.
so when I was a kid, my foot used to turn all the way in. So I had a crooked leg, and it was very noticeable. I would get teased I would get teased regularly because of that. I dreaded someone asking me, why does he walk like that?
Yeah.
You know? But then as I got older, I realized it's a teachable moment. I would say things like, because I was born this way, right?
Yeah.
Now, kids have an excuse.
Kids are assholes, bro. Let's be honest.
That's
kids don't got no filter.
They
Oh,
have
look
no-
at that,
like,
mommy and shit. I'm like, man, listen, bro. My fat ass walked to a restaurant.
Yep.
Oh, why was that a big guy? I'm like, oh, listen, bro.
Kids
Disrespect the shit out
have
of me, yo.
their excuse is they don't know. They seriously don't know. In some cases, I might be their first encounter with something with a disability like this.
Or somebody,
Right.
or just seeing somebody different in general. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I might be.
Yeah.
You know, shoot, I remember seeing first time I ever saw somebody with no legs. I was in a elevator going to see my cousin, right? Going to see one of my older cousins, right? And one of my cousins was with me, and they said, "Don't stare," right? And I'm in my head, I'm like, it's kind of hard not to. Not to mention, I'm also being stared at because I'm a kid with a very noticeable limp. You
Yeah.
know,
Something different. Yeah.
so to me, it's like, okay, ask questions. Ask questions. How else are you gonna know if you don't ask questions? And if I don't know something, I'll tell you. You know, but there are some times where people try to be so nice or PC or whatever. It's like,
Yeah.
look, if you have a question to ask me when you see me, just ask me. I will tell you if it's annoying. Like I would get stuff like I would get stuff like, where are you going? Like when I started like walking back and forth to work, right? They'd be like, hey, where are you going? Like, where do you go every day? I'm like, dude, I'm just going to work. And they look at me
Yeah.
like, you work? I'm like, yeah.
You work.
Yeah, I work.
horrible.
What you know, like,
Yeah.
but that just shows ignorance. That's all it is. And I'm not gonna blame
Yeah.
you if you don't know, but if you don't pay attention, that's a different story. You know?
I completely understand. And
Yep.
coming from, we kind of transitioned from like, your younger years going to school, like you said openly on both shows that you weren't a fan of school because of just kind of
Not at
certain
all.
situations. Was
Not
it,
at
I mean, was it really bad? Did you have any like good memory? What would you let's do this. Let's
Yep.
say what's like the bad shit, and then what's also like some good shit, the two that you were like, hey, listen, I did enjoy this experience.
Okay, bad is when they didn't listen to me when I tried to tell them that I felt very stereotyped. Like when I was in sixth grade, one of the new students in our class had Down syndrome, and she was an awesome person, still is. But they would put us together every time, every time we had a project due or like a dance or something, they'd always put us together, right?
Yeah.
And I told my mother and my dad, and we brought it up to the school. and they thought I was just being overly dramatic, right?
Mm,
When the principal of the school, the principal of the school at the time had retired the year prior, and she told us all that we were going to have a new student joining us who happened to have Down syndrome. She looked at me and basically said, "I'm going to look at to you to be her friend." And I have no problem, I have no problem making friends. It's just now it's an expectation based on the fact that we're the only two disabled people in the class, at least
yeah.
noticeably disabled people in the class, you know?
That's really, really interesting, bro. That's actually a really interesting topic. And I gotta ask, just on that topic right there,
Yeah.
there's different types of, whether it be just disabilities or
Yeah.
just like people who are different. Like you said, like somebody with Down syndrome. I'm not no expert. I don't know too much,
I'm
but
not
I
an
do know
expert.
that
I'm not an
there's,
expert
there's
either.
mental,
Yep.
functions. There's
Yep.
physical functions.
Yep.
And you are right. It makes a lot of sense, like you said. If you have somebody who is like physically has enabled, or however you say it, I'm trying to be respectful.
Yeah,
But if
that's
you
cool,
have
dude.
somebody who's has a physical, capability, and he can't really do this or they can't do this,
Yep.
that's physical, but it's not mental. So it's like
Right.
you're still kind of going around like, yeah, I got, I walk a little different, but I'm still the same shit. I Power Rangers, fucking Ninja Turtles. I like
It,
big titties. You know what I'm saying? Like, like
all
I
of that
like
is true.
regular shit.
Yep.
But then you have somebody else who maybe has maybe a slower way of learning, or just like, a different kind of understanding, and it's mental.
Yeah.
And it's like you're not in the same category. So it's like you may not vibe well with this person just based off the fact of, like you're saying, everybody's stereotyping you as disability. Bam, they're all
Yeah.
together. It's all one fucking bubble or topic. I can understand that. I never would have thought about that until this conversation right here.
Oh yeah. And now I hear the
I
term
hear my stupid
ableist
thing.
being,
Go ahead, keep talking.
being.
I hear you.
Yeah, that's cool. Now I hear the term like ableism or ableist being, used a lot more. And honestly, I've been there too. Just because I'm happen to be disabled doesn't mean that I'm exempt from being from thinking in that way. You know what I'm saying? So but because I was a kid at the time, I just wanted to fit in like everybody, like everybody else at the time, like because like I got teased for stuff like saying I could hear music clearly in my head. I got teased for liking the stuff that I like to watch on TV. I got teased for, just for the dumb, for like the dumbest things, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I just wanted to be on the other side of the fence, you know?
I feel you, bro. I definitely feel
Mhm.
you. I was an asshole as a kid too. I mean, I definitely did a lot of stuff. I got teased too. I mean, kids are just assholes, man. That's really like the scenario I guess I grew up understanding. Like,
Yep.
I've been in fights, I've been in a whole bunch of different things, but it's just like we were talking about earlier. It's just like they haven't understand. They don't know. They don't have that concept yet of just like, empathy. Really, it's just like, it's just like, hey, I'm gonna say what I want and do what I want for whatever reasons.
Oh
It's
yeah.
not a lot of thought behind it and shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but that definitely makes a lot of sense. So those are some things that you experienced that were bad in school. So what were some of the things that you did enjoy, if there was anything?
When I so okay, so I got in my first fight in seventh, like my first real fight in seventh grade,
Oh shit, let's go.
right?
Give it the good shit, B-Line.
I got into my first real fight in seventh grade, right? There was a dude that just saw me as a weakling. So he would, he would constantly tease me. He would constantly like, you know, flick books out of my hand and whatever. And then one day I tell my mom. Now my mom's from the projects, right?
Mm,
So she said, but at the same time, my mom's a very, like very big hearted person. She would always tell me, don't start the fight, but you can finish it, right? So when I tell her that somebody is doing this to me, she's like, "Look, if you don't want me to go down there, then you have my permission to do something about it." Right? You don't like the last thing I wanted was my mom coming down and fighting my battles for me. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, definitely don't want that.
So she said, and this happened a few days before Halloween. She said, um, I don't care if you get suspended, we will take care of it. But if he does something to you, then you have the right to do something back.
That's
Right?
right.
The
That's right.
following day, right before lunch, he decides to mess with me, and I can't take it. Now, usually I'm a chill guy. I'm a pretty, like go with the flow kind of guy, you know. But this time he was laughing, and then I just got him a couple times in the face. But because he's bigger than me and stronger than me, you know what I'm saying? He pushed me down pretty easily. Plus I have weak balance, so he pushed me down pretty easily. I lost the fight, but I got back up. Next thing next thing you know, him and I are apologizing. We piece it up. We don't become friends or anything, but we leave each other alone for the most part until he
Respect.
robs me again in high school. But
That's your
but
villain. That's your fucking that's
I
your
blame
what the
myself.
hell's it
I
called?
blame myself. He robbed me for
Tired.
some Yu-Gi-Oh cards.
Oh, really?
I just gave him the cards to to check out. Next thing you know, I'm going home with like half a deck. My holographics are gone. All that,
Oh,
So
man.
that was my fault. I was way too trusting. But seventh grade, he never messed with me again. I was the kid that next thing you know, like word got around, like Kyle, right? Like
Stood up.
Kyle
That's all it
fought.
takes, man.
Like really, I lost the fight. Right, but
Bro.
he never messed with me. He never messed with me physically again.
Yes, respect, man. And that story alone probably tells a lot to a lot of people who are probably in positions where you're fearful to stand up for yourself, because it sucks. And I never understood this mentality to a degree, but it's just like when somebody's bothering you, somebody's picking on you, somebody's doing shit to you, messing with you, whatever, they're hurting you. You feel me? Like they're constantly hurting you. And the
Yep.
reason why you won't do something about it is because why? You're scared that you're gonna get hurt. Like
I'm scared that I'm scared that I'm gonna get hurt. I'm scared that I'm gonna get in trouble. I'm scared of
fuck
all.
that,
I'm
man.
scared of all of that because I have never been suspended before. The most
Yeah.
I ever got was a few detentions here and there, and it was for like dumb stuff. So
Man, that's so crazy hearing that.
so at the end of everything, him and I ended up with 1 day detention, right?
Yeah.
Because the principal saw us basically saying, no, I'll take the 3 days. Now I'll take the 3 days. We're defending each other now. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll take the 3 days. I'll take the 3 days. The principal knew us both, and she said, you know what? I'm just going to give you 1 day detention. After everybody heard that, they thought it was just because of me, right? So, but from that point on, aside from him taking my trading cards, he never tried to fight me again. And the best part of all of that is, I met friends, after that. I made, friends in high school who a lot of them now are still my homies to this day.
That's awesome.
So
That's
that
awesome.
was, I give you one bad, then I give you one, like one good. Like I ended up meeting some lifelong friends in high school, and we discovered that we had a lot in common. I was the guy in the tech ed class in the basement, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Learning shit. And
we had the basement crew before homeroom. That was the stuff I remember, and the
That's
stuff
awesome.
outside of school,
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's
Mhm.
awesome. Hey, that's awesome, man. And that's why I wanted to ask you. It took a little while to get there. I was like, damn, I just asked him something good, and he's going to start off with a fight.
Yeah,
But
I figured I had to give you the both the the negative and the positive, because before I always focused on the negative. As a kid, I was
Yeah.
very negative when it came to myself. It was cool for me to big up other people, but it took a while for me to figure out what was positive about me.
Yeah.
Besides besides the fact that people saw me as like some people like. Here's another thing about being disabled that a lot of that a lot of us hate. Okay, we are not inspirational fodder. Okay, we're not here to be the poster child of you can do it. You know what I'm saying? We're only here to live just like everyone else. I saw an article not too long ago about a wheelchair basketball league, and they made a whole big deal about it. I'm like, okay, that's dope, but they have leagues all over the place. You just gotta ask them where they go. Like where's the what park are they playing at? That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. For real.
We have limitations, but we figure out ways around them. Like for example, I hate stairs, and one thing and
Me
and
too.
that's, you know, and, and I
Got that
hate
shit in common.
I hate stairs.
Fucking
And
stairs.
with my leg muscles, sometimes even even the smallest step can feel steep to me sometimes. So it takes me a while, especially if there's no banister, to find my bearings when I'm going upstairs. Not so much downstairs, but when I'm going upstairs. But downstairs I'm afraid of falling,
Yeah.
right? I'm afraid, I'm afraid of falling. So like, okay, so I'm looking for a railing, or I'm looking for a ramp, or or sometimes I'll ask someone to help me out, because I don't always ask for help when I should. I will admit
Yeah.
that.
Hey, listen, I think
You
that's
know?
strength. Even though I can't speak on it like that, but I
Yeah.
always respect people who always try to their best to handle it themselves, yo.
Yeah.
And I'm saying this, and I always give my wife shit, but at the same time, it's just like I'll respect you because you ain't just sitting back. I mean, there's grown motherfuckers who not. This is something I can't stand more than anything.
Mm.
People who sit there and go to Walmart, go to the grocery store, and they're not handicapped in any type of fucking way, but they try to they drive the handicapped carts, the
Mm.
automatic carts around the store and stuff like that, bro. It's so fucking pathetic. And it's
Ah,
like you might as well just go get a damn wheelchair and just not walk, but you have the ability to do what you. It's just laziness to me, bro.
in some cases, some cases it's in some cases it's laziness. In other cases, you don't know what their limits are. You know,
Uh,
you
yeah,
know,
Kyle, I feel you, bro. But
yeah,
it's like you are right. You are right.
yeah,
Like I'm generalizing, right? Like there's
yeah.
probably definitely people that I'm judging the shit out of. But let's be honest. There's also the motherfuckers who who-
There are those, regardless of what of where you are in life, there are those who will work the system. And
sure.
unfortunately, there are plenty of people who have worked the system for centuries. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
They find loopholes, they find ways to get around, they find shortcuts. And in some cases, I'm a little envious of those people, I'm gonna be honest. But because I was the guy that had to be forced to use the elevator. You know what I'm saying? I was the guy that had to be forced into a wheelchair. Every elementary school field trip, they had to put me in a wheelchair, because that was their idea of accommodation. They didn't
Mm.
want me to, they wanted me to keep up, because I'm, you know, speed wise, I'm slower than a lot,
Yeah, yeah, I feel you.
than the average, so they always put me in a wheelchair, and had the teacher push me, right? In high school, they let me walk, and my friends would help me out if need be, but
Yeah.
I've always, like, it was, they had to make me get in a wheelchair, and then when I had my surgeries, I was in a wheelchair for months at a time.
What
So
did What'd you have surgeries on? Or what
my
and
hips,
when, I guess.
my hips. So apparently I didn't know this until I got older. What's going on, Eric? I
What up,
didn't
eh?
know I didn't know this until I got a little older, but I had surgery on my eyes. I had lazy eye, and plus the CP affected my eyes too.
Okay.
Um, but when I was around 7 or 8 years old, I had my first hip surgery. And what they did was they put metal pins in my hips and extended them a bit. You know what I'm saying? Um, then second surgery about 2 years later. Yeah, about 2 years later, I had them taken out.
Okay.
Then my next surgery wouldn't come until I was about 17 years old. And by 17, they let me make the decision whether I wanted to have the surgery or not. Right.
Okay.
The
Th- w-
Yeah.
was it to try to help you like your mobility or
Yeah,
what was it?
that was basically it. Like, I don't know what they told my mother, because I was too young.
Yeah.
But I remember them tricking me to get on the operating table. Um, and then that was horrific. That's one of those core memories that stuck with me. That's why
Bro,
I can't
listen. I
stand
hope I don't
hospitals.
never need that shit. I might just die and say fuck it.
You know what I'm
I
saying?
really don't want none of that shit, man. That's surgery shit.
But
I hate all that bullshit.
Yeah, but my third surgery went like this. My doctor who had been with me, he's the one that diagnosed me. He said, this could get worse as you get older. So to me, that was the deciding factor. He said, this could get worse as you get older. What do you want to do? I said, let's do it. January of my junior year, I had that surgery done, and it did help a bit, but I don't think it had the results that they thought it would have. And
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you, but I'm trying my best. I'm trying to exercise more. Well, trying. I do get lazy. So
That's
yeah.
shit. Me too. Kyle, man, listen, definitely learned a lot about you on this episode right now.
Mhm.
One thing I wanted to ask you also was podcasting. Like,
Yeah.
this is how we met. This is how I know you've met a lot of people that you've talked to, since you've been doing it, which I'm surprised to find out you've been doing it even longer than I have.
Yeah.
You said 2018 you started your first show.
Yeah.
And
First show with this one anyway. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah. So it's like you've been doing this for a while. I know you've talked to me about like, stuff you used to do on YouTube and stuff like that in the past as well.
Hmm.
But do you feel like podcasting has made it easier for you to meet people in certain ways?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It is a very it's a very freeing format.
Yeah.
Like it's a it's very uplifting. It's very fun, especially when I'm talking to people like you or our homeboy Steady or or anybody else that we've met in this space. Now I know
Definitely.
that like some people want to focus on like maybe making money or making a career out of it. Me, it helped me find my voice, right? It helped me find my voice. It started from people suggesting that I go to broadcasting school because they said I had a nice voice. I was doing I was a receptionist. I was working for my mom, right? And I would get I would get like compliments from my voice from some of the customers, and they would be like, you should be on radio, you should be this and that. So they were gassing me up. And the next thing you know, I go to broadcasting school and I'm learning about radio, I'm learning about news, I'm learning about editing with Final Cut Pro and Adobe Premiere and all this stuff that I loved. Like bro, if I knew that that was an option, I would have done that right out of high school. You
Mm,
know,
yeah.
I
No,
if I so for real,
that's an interesting that is an interesting point. That's actually an interesting conversation altogether. Like,
Mhm.
I always resort back because like I've said this in the past, but like, a lot of times a lot of people who don't have children, I feel
Yeah.
they find themselves kind of looking back a little further. When you're
Mhm.
looking back a little further, especially we're pushing 40.
Yeah.
It's no secret, y'all. We still look good, so I don't give a fuck what y'all say. But we're pushing 40, man. And it's like, remember, man, it's crazy to say out loud, but high school and shit was 20 years ago.
Yeah.
20 years ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like we say that to our parents and they're like, oh, you think that's something? I mean, right
And
now
we're gonna be saying that to the kids after us. You're gonna be
Lord
saying that to
willing,
your
right?
kids.
Yeah,
Mhm.
exactly. But it's like we got to look back 20 years when it's like, okay, damn, 20 years ago, man, damn, 20 years ago, if I would have knew, what I'm saying, what I know now, I'd be doing something
Yeah.
completely different 20 years ago. But the
Absolutely.
thing is, when you have kids, bro,
Yep.
you get that reminder a lot fucking faster and a lot more frequent.
Mm.
And when I see my kids going through shit, like my kids are going into high school right now.
Yep.
And that's the craziest thing. Like for me, I'm thinking like, damn, I remember what I was doing. I remember who I was talking to. I see these videos on TikTok about like, the class of 2005. And it's just like a compilation of all the old school stuff and what they were doing in high school. But it's like,
Mm.
as I'm talking to my kids and I'm like, they're in the same process. And I'm telling them like, I'm
Yep.
like, hey, yo, check this. I wish I would have been able to do this. So you do it now. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to listen, just like we didn't listen or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's crazy how you think about stuff like that. Like, man, if I only could go back and just do this, because I would just like you just said, I would love to go back and focus more maybe on broadcasting, focus more on different things that would push me to where I am now. What I
Oh yeah.
obviously know I want to do.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I always
Interesting.
I ask myself that all the time. Matter of fact, that is a question I ask every episode of A for Abled. If the younger version of you came to you and asked you how did you turn out? What would you say? And everyone's answer is different. Some people are shocked that I even asked that question. Some have a question right
That's a
away. They
good
already have
fucking
something.
question.
They have something in the
Good question.
chamber. I can tell you what inspired that question, though.
Yeah, please.
Okay, so there is a underrated movie, Disney film, right, called The Kid, right?
Oh yeah, with Bruce
Yeah,
Willis. A
with
great,
Bruce Willis.
great fucking movie. It's crazy you just said that.
Yeah. So the younger version of him comes to him at a time in his
Yeah.
life where he's like he's just going through the numbers. He doesn't really have many friends. He doesn't really have much of a life outside of telling other people how to dress, what to wear. He's an image consultant, and his younger self comes to him and reminds him what it was like to be him. And it hit me. So that is something I would keep close to the vest. So when I ask someone what they how they how they think they turned out, if their younger self were to ask them, sometimes I get these looks like, man, that's a good question, or that's a
For real.
like it's just it's just crazy because we all go through different stages. Like we're the same people, but we're different people.
Yeah.
We're the
You
same
grow,
people.
man.
You are not the same person you were when you were 8 years old. You are not the same person you were when you were 16 and up and up. Like I didn't really seem to. I honestly don't feel like I found myself until now.
I mean, it's like you said, bro. We are the person that we are at the stages that we're in, and
Hmm.
you don't get really defined by it until you go through the process. Like you have to go through the areas that you go through them in. Everything's a factor, bro. Your
Yeah.
environment, your people the people that you are around, like
Hmm.
the jobs that you have, the
Yep.
heartbreak, the everything defines you. That's why also with that question a lot of times you get, hey, I wouldn't take away everything that I've learned, because then I wouldn't be the person that I am. And
Yeah,
it's
that's true.
absolutely true. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You might be like, the biggest piece of crap if you said, hey, I'm going to go back to school and I'm going to change everything. I'm going to make everybody my best friends. And then who knows the kind of person that you'd be now at 38 years old or 40.
Oh yeah.
So you need all of the accomplishments and the challenges
And the failures.
and the failures that molded you into the person that you are. But it is such a kind of a compromising question when you're asked, like, hey, if you can go back right now and take 20 years back from what you just got with the knowledge you have now and what lessons you've learned. Yeah, that movie, The Kid, is one of those movies that hits you right in the feels, because especially all the way to the end. Because
Yep.
like you said, he was kind of like a dick. He wasn't really the most likable kind of person. And he kind of saw why. He kind of saw his development and what changed and things that influenced that kind of that attitude from him. And then
Exactly.
going towards the end, no spoiler alert. I mean, this shit came out like 20 years ago.
Right.
But he gets to the end and he's like looking for the little kid. He's like, man, I'm glad this guy came back and reminded me of who I used to be, and
Yep.
the good person that I am.
Yep.
And then you see him go away, and you're like, damn, I think it hit everybody a little bit in the feels, man. I ain't gonna lie, I think I kind of cried at that movie one time when I watched it.
I think I did.
It's a good movie.
It is
Disney
it is-
movie too.
It is a good movie. It doesn't get talked about enough
Yeah,
to me. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes you need a good slice of life movie. Sometimes
really do.
sometimes you need a good movie to sometimes think deeply, but at the same time, it reflects on you, like how you react to that kind of to that kind of film or whatever. Sometimes it says a lot about you, and other times you just want to watch a movie just to watch a movie. Me, I
Yeah.
think part of me is always looking for something because I was once told everything has meaning. Now,
Mhm.
now,
Kyle
because
be dropping bombs of knowledge, y'all, and he does it so fucking naturally that it don't even hurt him. He just says shit. That was some true shit.
I was once told that everything has everything has a reason for being, right? And I
Yeah.
used to spend a lot of time thinking about what my reason was. And then I started thinking, okay, maybe not everything, but sure, if you want to think that way, okay. But when I think of a movie like the kid is it's a very it's a very deep film because you
Yeah.
can't get those moments back. You can't get those moments back again. Good or like good or bad, you can't get those moments back again. Even if I had the chance to um like hop in a time machine, you know what I'm saying? Because I love time
Yeah.
travel stories. If I had a chance
Yeah.
to hop in the time machine, I wouldn't go back to the past. I
Right.
wouldn't, because there's so much stuff that, and I'm not saying everything is better in the present, because honestly, no, but I wouldn't go back to the past, because then you'd have to remember all the bad stuff in the past as well. So you'd have
Yeah.
to go through,
You know what to expect for the
you
most
know what
part.
to expect.
Yeah.
You know what to expect. Like some people would say, "Oh, I want to go back to the Clinton era." I'm like, Clinton wasn't 100% clean. You know what
No,
I'm
none of
saying?
them
Like,
motherfuckers are.
like a lot of it, like I want to go back to when things were this, were this price, where were this much. Well, also, what about the people? Like what about
Yeah.
the people? What about the things that we didn't have at the time, or the laws we didn't or the laws we didn't have at the time? If you look at
That's right.
some of the laws we have now, um, some of them are not that much older than we are, and that's the
Yeah.
and that's the and that's the crazy part. Sometimes when we had to think about these things, or study them in school, some of them we didn't even have to study. I found this out listening to people. You know,
Yeah. Yeah,
you know,
talking and engaging. That's kind of how you find out some of the most real information,
yeah.
because you're getting it from somebody's experience, not just like, written word.
Yeah,
And
and everybody's experiences is different,
that's right.
but if if your ears are open, and you get like a lot of gems, you know?
Yeah, you speaking to people like us, man. We do this. We've talked to so many different people. That's one of the most amazing things from doing this experience that I'm pretty sure we both can agree on. It's just like the different connections that you've met, and that you are able to keep with ones that that you want to, but
Mhm.
also just being able to just get those experiences and those different perspectives of people, and and just a regular easy setting. You know what I'm saying? Like we're not
Yeah,
being chased by sharks and shit like this. It's just coming out naturally. Even this conversation right here, bro, you don't even know that you just kind of like opened up a whole nother mentality of me in this conversation, because I'm like, it's really crazy. Like, I brought you on here because I wanted to, share your story and everything like that. But every time I bring somebody on here, especially the web show, like I just like
yep,
to talk, man. Sometimes I get on here and
yeah,
I just talk with my damn self, just to hear
yep,
myself talk and share, like, concepts or ideas or situations that I've been going through and shit like that or whatever, and just kind of let somebody else connect with it
yep.
as well.
I hear you. I hear you.
But
Yeah,
yeah, man. I mean, you definitely dropped some knowledge tonight, Kyle. Definitely glad I was able to get to know a little bit more about you, bro. Like I tell you all the time, like we about to have a little baby shower over here on Friday, and I'm like, man, fucking Kyle, go pick him up, put him on my shoulder. Let's go, Kyle. You bringing your ass over to my house,
oh
and then
man. No,
and
no, I appreciate that, man, and congratulations, bro,
yeah, I
on
appreciate it, bro.
growing, growing your family. Like I'm an uncle, right?
Yeah,
So I'm an uncle. I love being an uncle. I'm kind of like I love it when I hear that my people close to me, they have a family or they have kids. Me, I'm kind of indifferent to it,
yep,
but but at the same time, I love watching my like the people that is closest to me, my chosen family, my village. I love seeing them in the next generation grow. You
that's
know,
right, man. Yeah, for real.
and I love it when I love it when when I hear them call me Uncle Kyle on their own. There have been times where
Mm,
they have to have where they were told to, but I'm like, nah. See, if they call me Uncle Kyle on their own, that means they trust me, and
yeah,
I'm not going to derail that trust. I'm not gonna, like, they know 100% Uncle Kyle, or Uncle Kit Kat in some cases,
Uncle Kit
is
Kat.
yeah, my nickname in some of my friend circles is Kit Kat. So their kid, so at least one of their kids will call me Kit Kat, and my girlfriend heard about that, and she started calling me Kit Kat.
There you go. Shout out to Ty. What up, Ty?
So it just, yeah, man. And shout out, shout out to Ty. Listen, I'm not a religious person, but meeting her was nothing short of a miracle, dog. I'm just telling.
Awesome, bro. I'm
gonna
happy. I'm really happy for you, bro. I'm really
Man.
glad.
Yeah, it's beautiful. But shout out to you. But shout out to you and the family, dude.
Thank you, bro. Yeah,
Mhm.
I really appreciate it. I'm very blessed as well, man. My wife definitely came and she calmed the beast, and it feels good to be able to relax. I mean, I'm still me, man, and there's times where I really go through a lot of different things where it's just like I realize that I don't have to be as aggressive, and I don't have to be as like just wild in nature
Yeah.
anymore. And she'll
Mhm.
kind of calm me down. I'm very fast to just like if something's happening, like I'm on guard, I'm ready to fucking go like a missile, man.
Mhm.
But that's because of my upbringing and stuff like that. But she tries to help me, and she's really trying to help me learn, especially with age, getting up and health. And she's trying to help me learn that I really don't need to be like that anymore. Like, problems and shit are gonna happen, things are gonna happen. You just gotta understand it and just be able to breathe through it and all that shit. I get it. Okay, that's all right there. What's up, Ty? I knew you was
What's going
watching.
on, babe?
Yeah, you
And
gotta watch.
man, like I told you, meeting her, nothing short of a miracle, my dude.
How'd you guys meet? Let's
I'm dead
do that,
serious.
and then I got a surprise for everybody. I was surprised with Kyle too.
Man. Okay. So we met through Facebook, believe it or not, right?
Oh, okay, all right,
And
that's not bad.
she DMs me to say thank you for a podcast episode. She had listened to an episode of the podcast
Okay.
and it stuck with her, and she wanted to say thank you. The next thing you know, we just started talking. She said, "Well, don't I'm a dork that took a while to to write this," and I'm like, "Look, from one dork to another, thank you. I
Yeah,
appreciate it." You know what I mean? And next thing you know, we started talking. I started sharing music with her, you
yeah.
know. And the first time I heard her voice, right? Because for a little bit, it was just texting, right? And the first time I heard her voice, she recited a poem that she wrote for some friends that were getting married. I'm like, you got a nice voice, which she does. She has a very sultry voice, right? So I said that, and then some time went by, and I asked, hey, do you mind if we talked if we use like Facebook video chat? And she said sure. Next thing you know, I was like, it's kind of a rap. It was kind of a rap from there. I'm gonna
Yeah.
be
Oh yeah. Yeah.
like,
That's it. That's all you
it
needed,
was
right?
it was a wrap from there. And we just started talking. We started talking regularly, and like hours would go by. And one day I'm working this old school party that my dad's DJing, right? I was gonna film it and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So she says her and a girlfriend of hers are going to be at the old school party, right? So that was our first in real life meeting,
Okay.
right?
All right. I didn't know
And
none of this. This is awesome.
that was our first meeting in real life. And even though it was not a date, it felt like one.
For
we
real.
we like there wasn't any plans for us to do anything else outside of just meeting, and plus we were talking and stuff. But you couldn't deny it, the feelings and the chemistry and stuff were there. But I will say this though, my sister met her first,
Mm.
right?
I was gonna say like so Tyler's close to you.
Yeah, she only lives like a couple towns away from me.
Okay. Not that
Like
bad.
really like 20 minutes away, and
Oh yeah.
we're
That's it.
from the same city. We had no
Gotcha.
idea that
Okay.
we were from the same city. We just knew
That's
that we had a
awesome,
lot of the
man.
same, like we looked at our mutuals and we had a lot of the same people in common, right?
Yeah.
So I asked her once, I was like, "Did we meet before?" And she said, "No." And I'm like, based on who she knows, because some of the people I was like blood related to, I was like, how did we not meet? Not to mention, I went to school with like one of her relatives. I'm like, how did we not meet? Until now.
Till it was time. That's
Until it
that
was time.
weird shit, right? Until it
You
was
know.
time. It's like, that's when it
So
happened.
and here we are almost 2 years later, and we've had this discussion, and we've talked about like some stuff, man. Like
Yeah.
we're nostalgia heads. You know what I'm saying?
Oh
She
yeah,
knows
I know.
it really, and I just want to grow with her. That's it. Like honestly, it's not even just, oh, I'm in a relationship, she's my person. No, I want to grow with her, and emotionally, physically, all that, all that stuff. You
Yeah,
know?
that's awesome, bro. I'm really happy for you guys, and
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what comes with the future, man. And we still gonna be doing the ENT show
Most
and the
definitely.
web show and A for Able. We're gonna be doing everything. I mean, that's one constant that I do believe wholeheartedly in my future is gonna be this for sure. But
Yep.
Kyle, man, definitely amazing. I'm really glad you came on. I'm really glad we did this. Everybody, I really hope you enjoyed, learning about Kyle. And of course, definitely go check us out. Check him out on A for Able. I've been having it scrolling on here the whole time we've been talking. Go to YouTube, A for Able podcast. It'll pop up. Click it and subscribe. Definitely, you don't know what you'll gain from it. It'll be an awesome experience for you. But oh yeah, there you go. Look at the love. Look at
Love you too, babe.
all this shit on. I some damn love too. Where's she at?
Man.
I think Tiff is super pregnant. Babe, come here, baby. I'm upstairs now. I can fuck with her now. I used to be in downstairs.
Oh.
You got your whole bonnet on. You gonna come into the camera and say hi? Come on, baby. You gotta be careful. She's pregnant, y'all. Come on, you better hurry up. Well, I gotta do something before it's over. Y'all want to see Auntie Tiff? Y'all ain't see Auntie Tiff in a long ass time. Come on, baby. Come show everybody Jackson before he's Yeah, there you go. Right there. Look at my pregnant baby.
Yeah, I'm pretty
That's
out
Kyle.
there now.
Yeah, she's all the way out there now.
All right.
Okay, I go to bed.
All right, good, baby.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Yeah, but this is the last one, y'all. This is the last one.
That's
the
last one.
That's the last one, bro. No more. I'm done. I want to fucking travel or do something when I get older, bro. I ain't trying to be raising no more. But
I got it. I'm not. Look, I ain't gonna be the one to say, "Hey, have some more." No, I'm not that guy. If you say that's it, I believe you.
I'll have grandkids. My kids are going to high school, man. So I'll have grandkids eventually. But Kyle, listen.
Yes.
Like I said, it's been an awesome show. Thank you, Ty.
Thank you, babe.
It's been an awesome show. And as you guys know, on the B-Line Entertainment, me and Kyle, we do the top five. Or that's what we do to close out our entertainment show. So I was thinking it's not the entertainment show, but we got a top five we're gonna do for y'all before we get out of here. I didn't even tell Kyle this. Kyle, we're gonna do a top five, Kyle.
Oh shoot.
It's gonna be an easy top five. And it's gonna be very, very easy top five. And I don't feel like we're gonna me and Kyle be trying to battle to see if we're gonna like match each other and shit, or we're gonna get all different. We're gonna do our top five favorite things. Period. Things. It can be one specific thing. It can be a group of things, but we're gonna do it real quick, and it's gonna be awesome. All right. So since I started off, I'll give you a little time to think, and I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say top five. I don't even know. I just came with this on the spot. I'm gonna say number five. Start from the back. I'm gonna say number five. Number five, I would have to say I'm gonna put music and movies at number five. Music and movies is number five for sure, hands down. I love music. I loved it a lot more back in the day. I'm not really too much of a fan of the new stuff, but I can still find things that I really enjoy.
Yeah,
music and movies number five, hands down. Definitely movies. I love movies. How about you, Kyle? What's number five for you?
Honestly, I think I think music would be a bit more on, like that would be like my number three or my number two.
Okay.
But number five, hugs.
Hugs. I
love showing love. My biggest thing is like my mom taught me how to hug, and she always said hug people like you know them if they're comfortable enough, and I kind of got a reputation for hugs, believe it or not. I say that's gonna be on my gravestone. He gave great hugs. That's
Hey,
That's
listen,
it.
that's not a bad thing to do. You are right though. Giving somebody a nice like warm hug, especially somebody that you miss.
Yes.
It's very connecting. I
Yes.
definitely agree with that. That was a good one. Number five.
Mhm.
Number five for Brian B is movies and music. And number five for Kyle is hugs. Damn it. This guy is making me look horrible. All right, let's jump into
I'm a
number
sap.
four.
I am a
No, you're
sap.
good. Now
I
listen, bro. You one of the most genuine dudes I know, bro. And I couldn't appreciate it more. But
Mm,
number four, man, I'm gonna definitely say my number four
mm,
is food, man. Gotta put
food.
food up there, all types of food. Ain't nothing better than like just a good time and you got some good food with some good people. Man, it's nothing like it, bro. I love it.
And
Some
we
really good
did
food
talk
stuff.
about it on the on the entertainment show. We did talk about like our favorite barbecue, like barbecue food,
Yes.
our favorite. And man, go back and watch some episodes if you haven't, man.
Yeah.
We have a good time doing the
Really good
entertainment
time.
show. Hmm.
I gotta clip those. A lot of the top fives are, I mean, our top five's going for like an hour, but
Yep.
yeah, I definitely need to clip some of those. Yeah, really good conversations. But yeah, top five
Hmm.
is definitely top. I say number four is food. What you
Yep.
got?
Tea.
Tea,
Tea.
tea, sweet tea, iced tea, and stuff like that.
I'm a tea drinker. I'd rather tea than coffee. I'd rather tea than alcohol. You
Agree
know what
with
I
that.
mean? I am so much of a tea drinker, and now I'm getting into juicing and stuff too.
Mm,
Shout out to my stepdad. He's the one that got me into it. Like he didn't know how deep it was gonna go, but he got me into it. You know how usually, especially in a black household, what do we grow up with? A big old jug of Kool-Aid, right?
that's right. Yep.
Right. So
Ice cold.
when I moved in with my stepdad, that became a big old jug of tea, and he showed me how he would specifically make the tea for the house. And then one day I started doing it.
Yeah.
Like him and my mom showed me how to do it, and then I started doing it, and then I started adding like fruits and stuff to it, right? And then I would just love to see my stepdad's reaction when he take that first sip.
Mm,
I would add like apples so it would soak up the flavor. I would let it sit and steep for a
that's
good few minutes, and then
so
the
damn
whole
good.
house is smelling like it, right? And then
Yep.
my stepdad, he'll take that first sip and he'll be like, excellent, excellent.
Yeah.
You know, I love that to the point where people started asking like, Kyle, you gonna make the tea? Like we would have like people over and they'd be like, hey, you want to make like Kyle, you want to make us a jug of tea? I'm like, got you, I got you.
Mm.
And it became an interest of mine. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, that's hey, listen, that's awesome. You put that at number four. I wouldn't even thought about that, but that's a good one. Tea is
Mhm.
good. I like making the tea, especially the containers you get with the powder. You throw the lemons and lime and honey
Do
up
you,
in there. Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah,
do
bro.
your
That's
thing.
just amazing.
Do your
That's
thing.
just really good. Okay. Okay. So we in the mid. We in the mid now. We got number three. Number three. It was hard for me to try to put this together. I was thinking about it. I would have to say is collectibles. Number three for me is
Mm,
collectibles. I love a whole bunch of stuff. As you guys can see, I like collecting shit, man. I'm a
yep.
nerd. I like collecting, whether it be artwork, whether it be pictures, whether it be movies, whether it be toys. Yo, if I was being a nostalgic kid, like you said, nostalgia is definitely probably on that same rank with this because
Yeah.
it's just like if I can go back and buy the toys that I used to play with as a kid and just buy them again and have them all and it would be a full fucking room in my house, bro.
I saw a couple of reports. They called it kid adults. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, so it
whatever
was,
works.
it was, people our age and a little older going back, and buying the stuff from their childhood because the
Yeah,
toy, because like the older adult toy collecting business is huge, and they're like, look, I got adult money now. There is stuff that I didn't get to have as a kid, or
that's
stuff I
right.
want to get back as a kid, or share with my offspring, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
There's a lot of it too, man. Even just like you said, like there's a lot of you go into Walmart, man, they literally have the old school figures
yep,
that I mean, just some of them, but like the Ninja Turtles,
Yep.
all the old school figures, bro. The same ones you
They got
bought back in the 80s.
conventions for it too. They got conventions for
It's
the
crazy, man.
old 80s cartoon. There is a 90s con, there's a
Yeah.
nostalgia con, there's a convention for anything. And one of these days I will be taking my queen to one of them.
We need to go all together. I want to go with the B-Line and have a
Listen,
microphone and talk to
we
people. I
gotta
really
go.
want to do that.
We gotta go. You think you're gonna get some good interviews there? Heck yeah.
Bro, man, I'm telling you, man, and just straight out fun too. Just like finding out about awesome people who share the same kind of interests, and
Yep.
yeah, that is a bucket list on mine for next year. This
Mhm.
year has been a little bit more focused, but next year, man, listen, bro, I really want to hit some conventions and
Yep.
have a lot of fun times like that. But
It's gonna be
yeah,
beautiful.
nostalgia collectibles definitely high on the list for me, bro. I love collecting stuff that I
Yep.
like. Like that's just my shit. What's your
Mhm.
number 3, Kyle?
Number 3 is kind of in the like pretty much in the exact same lane. Nostalgia. Period.
Nostalgia.
I
Yep.
you know I love things that bring that, like, even though I would never want to go back, I love
Yeah.
things that bring me back to that, to that mindset, like
That
my
joy.
that joy, that
Yeah.
thing that makes my inner child go, like, we did good.
Yeah.
I remember this. I'll do this, and the thing is, we are the nostalgic generation, right?
Yeah. That's
So
right. We are.
like, yeah, like our parents say, yeah, we liked our cartoons, we grew out of it. Nah. They keep
Nope.
rebooting our stuff. Okay.
We get to
Like,
rewatch our classic shit while the
we
other
keep
new kids are watching blocky ass Ninja Turtles. I don't even know what the hell that is.
man.
Can't stand seeing that
Oh man,
shit, bro.
I have watched pretty much every Ninja Turtles iteration since I was a kid, and everybody has their preferences, but
Yeah.
I love going back to classic Nickelodeon. I could do all day.
All
You
day.
know, like
Yep.
classic Nickelodeon, I could do all day. I've done a whole marathon of Rocko's Modern Life with my lady, and it was
That's
beautiful.
right.
She just put it on one day, and we just sat and ate and watched Rocco, and it
Yeah.
was like, we can understand why my family tried to ban me from watching the show, but
Yeah, because that show was ridiculous.
man,
But so was
Joe.
SpongeBob and everything else they come on with now. The
Oh
show
yeah,
now
yeah.
is
But
even worse.
when we were young, the adult jokes went right over our heads.
Right over our head.
Now you watch it, and it's like, how they sneak that in?
Yeah, man.
Like, it's pretty
They
blatant.
were adults writing this shit. It wasn't like they had kids in the fucking room.
and that's why I say, don't tell me that animation is just for kids, because who's
That's
writing
right.
it in the first place?
It's
Who is writing
adults.
who is writing in the first place? It's adults. Yeah, they might take inspiration from
Yeah.
kids, but for the most part, they're writing it for them. They ain't writing it for us.
You're right. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. But number 3 is nostalgia for you, brother. I definitely, I completely agree with that. I'm gonna jump into number 2, and number 2, without a doubt, it was hard. This is gonna sound crazy, but it was hard picking from number 2 with this. But I would have to say this right here, man. This what I'm doing right here, the B-Line, podcasting, content creation, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
This might sound corny, but it's definitely real. I love the fact that I found what I want to do, and I'm determined, bro, to do this shit. I don't give a fuck. I mean, if I die trying, it'll suck, but I'll still be happy because I know for a fact that I did everything in my power to make it so that I can make it be what I want. I don't want a 9 to 5. I don't want to punch a clock. I want to sit down and make content and be engaging and get in front of this microphone and talk until my lips fall off.
Yep.
And be able to support my family and do all of that shit with it if I can in any way.
I hear you.
This is my treasure trove right here, bro. So number 2 is definitely podcasting, content creation.
Yep.
For sure.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
What you got, bro?
And number 2, music.
Music.
Music. Man, music is my time machine. Music is my music. It feeds my soul. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And while I, like you can tell we're getting older because we're like, we can't get down with the new, with the new music.
Bro,
Like
I
it's not that.
can't, man. I'm
Is it
sorry,
that we
bro.
gotta dig through stuff that actually, that we actually, we could see ourselves listening to on a regular, on a regular basis. For me, it's not. For me, it's not that hard. But because
Yeah.
we're in a place where algorithms basically tell you what to listen to now, it's
That too.
like
Yeah.
there's so much to go through, and Spotify and all these other greedy streamers pay your artists,
Yeah.
okay. Like I still use Spotify. I feel kind of ashamed of myself because they treating the artists like the slave, you know what I'm
It's
saying?
hard. It's hard when to not use it though, bro. There's not like a lot. You can't turn on the radio or listen to music like you used to because half of the shit isn't on there. The way you're hearing new music now, bro, is through TikTok. It's through,
Facts.
what I'm saying? It's through like videos. It's not even through like you used to have like the countdowns at 8 and stuff like that or whatever. You don't really have a lot of that.
And it's short form, like
Yeah.
it's anything between like the average TikTok is like, it started as like a minute and then now it's up to 10 minutes, but
Yeah.
they're not gonna have a whole song for like 10 minutes, at least not in this generation.
The one
Average
thing,
song is like 2 minutes.
yeah, the average song is like 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. People are literally cutting song structure just
Yep.
so they can appease to the new generation. Yeah, that's absolutely.
Mhm.
I fully fucking disagree with it. As a matter of fact, and I've had these conversations before, but you're absolutely right. But
Mhm.
also just like you just said, Kyle, like I put music and movies together, and I love both of them. But
Yep.
I feel like music would have been higher if you asked me maybe 15 years ago. Music
Yep.
would have been higher on my chart. Um, but I can honestly say, like to this day, bro, like there's times where I'm just, scrolling on TikTok, and for some reason, it's always when it's late, like late night, 11 o'clock.
Yep.
I'll get these reminders of just like awesome songs. The other day, I was just like I was laying in the bed and I heard Brian McKnight came on,
Yep.
and his he was singing One Last Cry
Mhm.
to his son because his son Nico had just passed away.
Oh.
And Brian McKnight's my favorite fucking R&B, male artist.
Mhm.
And he was singing it, bro. It was live. He was just him and the piano, and he did the whole fucking song. And when I tell you, bro, like you get that emotion
Yep.
of that, like I don't know what it is, but when it's that real shit, it
Yep.
catches you. Just like we were talking about the movie before about the kid.
Yep.
And when it's that connection to that emotion and you feel it, bro, the passion from that shit, it just can't be described, bro. It
Yeah.
can't be described. It's like love. It's like I was listening to it and I was like, this guy is so fucking talented. His message is so delivered right
Mhm.
now. I'm feeling what he's feeling through his expression, and that's his
Mhm.
music right now. That
Yep.
shit is undeniable, bro. Undeniable.
Yep.
But yeah, music is I definitely feel you all the way when you say number one. I mean, say number two. I can't wait to hear your number one. But I
Mhm.
think I can guess. I think I can guess what it is if music is number two. But I'm gonna say my number one, hands down, without a doubt, is my family, man. My family, like definitely the ones that I love. They get on my damn nerves. I go around here and I bitch and complain. My kids piss me off. But I love every single one of these people. I die for them. I try every day to make life better for them.
Mhm.
And yeah, man, favorite thing in the world. If the world blew up, I just want all of us to be together, like that episode of Family Guy when they were
Yeah.
looking for the when Randy Newman was
Mhm.
singing on the piano.
Oh yeah. Man.
Yeah,
Man.
family is number one, man.
Man,
What you
dude,
got, Kyle?
you're probably not gonna be surprised about this, but family is also my number one.
Family's number
Uh,
one. I figured. I know you a little bit
you
now.
figured that's what it was, because
Yeah, yeah. Family or tie? I knew it was one or the other.
look, if I
Probably
can,
both.
it's no, it's both. It's right up there. I put her right. I
Yeah,
put her right up there with my family, blood and
family. Yeah,
chosen. You know what I'm saying? She has
that's
become
right.
a very important person in my life, and I honestly can't see my life without her at this
Yeah,
point.
it's
But
awesome.
it's it's family, man. And I was, you know, I was, blessed as well to have a great village. I come from a big family and they've always supported me. They've
Yeah.
never tried to direct me to another like career path or anything like that. Anytime I told them I wanted to do something, they did whatever they could to help me. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
they inspired me to like shoot. It's because of my aunt that I love Star Wars and Star Trek and sci-fi and old movies and have a respect for old music and all of that. It's because of my dad and my uncles and my older cousins. I come from a long line of DJs.
Yeah.
So
That's right.
they themselves are entertainers. And while I didn't go the DJ route, even though I love, seeing them rock out on the turntables and play music and host shows, you know, th- I think this is also part of the reason why I'm a podcaster.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I
This is
believe it.
like that is
Yeah.
the medium, and my dad supports it, my mom supports it, my sister, they love it because, like I said, it helped me find my voice. It's because of my chosen family, my best friends, that I have much of appreciation for chosen family. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? For
Yeah.
like chosen family. Like I feel so fortunate to be a part of my friends' lives and their kids, even if I don't see them all the time.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm still like we're still connected, and it makes me feel so grateful because not everybody gets to have that,
Yeah,
you
man.
know?
It's definitely a blessing that you sometimes, even when you're down in your luck, man, you just remember like, you have so many people in your life that's important, and there's a lot of people who don't get to experience those kind of blessings. And I know a couple of people that I'm just thinking off on the top of my head, and you
Yeah.
realize like, there's people out there who really just, would be a little bit different if they had a little bit more love. And
Yeah.
when you have that, you really got to appreciate that shit for sure.
Facts.
For
Yeah.
sure. For sure, bro. Kyle, man, this has been definitely an amazing episode, bro. I mean, I actually had a really, really good time. You definitely took us on kind of an emotional journey, as well as just like a feel good journey, and then of
Mhm.
course, like always, just like a fun, good time, a lot of relatability, and just extreme, genuine nature, bro. And I appreciate the shit out of you, brother. And
Appreciate you too, man.
can't wait to get back on Thursday,
Thursday.
and talk with you. Thursday's gonna be an amazing show. Hope you guys are ready for it. We're gonna have a lot of fun. But guys, please definitely go check out Kyle A for Abled. Check us out on Thursday, of course, and then everything
Yep.
else we do, we're gonna keep you guys posted. Kyle, you got anything in closing, bro?
Oh yeah. So in closing, thank you, bro, for having me on the web show.
Yes, sir.
Like thank you for letting me tell my story. I know we'll
Yeah.
link up. You'll be on the show soon. You know what I
Yes,
mean?
sir.
We've been saying
Yes,
we've been
sir.
saying that for a while. But you my brother in podcasting, bro.
Yeah.
You and Eric and Steady and all of them. Shout out to the Misfits. They know who they are.
That's right.
You know, shout out to everybody that made it possible for me to be just talking to great people like this. And shout out to the disabled community. It is as of today, it is Disability Pride Month.
Awesome.
So not only will I be dropping new A for Abled episodes, but I'll be dropping like some solo stories too, telling
Awesome.
some of my perspective of dealing with what it's like having a disability, and also sharing other stories too, with permission. I have
Oh yeah.
gotten permission from people to share their stories. I feel like if we want things to change, we got to be the this is going to sound cliche as hell, but we got to be the change we want to see, right?
Yeah,
So
for real, man. You see all these videos and shit, like what
yeah,
I'm saying, like not for nothing, but the one thing we didn't really touch on this. I'm just say it real quick, but the one thing that you see a lot is people taking pride in kind of just being themselves, like
yeah,
what's that shit called where it's like I am uh the best. I don't
yeah,
know what the fuck's up. I'm
mhm,
tired, y'all, but literally like people just enjoying the fact, maybe enjoying too much at times, that hey, listen, I have something and this is that. And I say that meaning like there's a lot of people I think are kind of taking advantage, and kind of expressing things that maybe they may not be dealing with it like just for attention in a way. Especially when it comes
happens.
to autism. Yeah, like there's a bunch of people who all of a sudden everybody's autistic. Like, I'm not saying that you can't be, but I think when sometimes people just really like to try to, you know, be involved for attention.
Yeah.
And you don't want that. But I do like the fact, like we were talking about earlier, that it seems like it's a little bit more easy for people to come out and honestly be genuinely themselves and not be as judged as harshly as maybe they would have in the past, which I definitely think that that's awesome for people. I think people should be comfortable all rounds and all
You
rounds.
gotta be comfortable in your own. You gotta be comfortable in your own skin. It took me years, and sometimes I still have that moment where it's like, is this really life? Is this really like where I'm supposed to be? But then I realized something. Like, I used to really doubt myself, and now I don't do that as much anymore. It still it still happens, but I went through a lot to get here. So, then, like I said, shout out to the people that were there to help me. Even shout out to my therapists,
There you go. Hey, they matter.
Exactly.
Everybody helps mold you into whatever you are. You, at the end of the day, be proud of who you are. And more importantly, definitely make sure that you stay true. Here's what I say is at the end of every show for the last 5 years: stay true, stay positive, because shit be bad, but you got to remember what's good. And most importantly, pay attention, because if you're paying attention, you're going to understand what's good, and you're going to see more than just the bad, because you're dwelling on it, really, and it's not going to last. But Kyle, we're going to be back. Check us out tomorrow. We're going to be back. It is Wrestle Talk Wednesday. We got a straight through the roast Wrestle Talk. The whole crew's going to be in the building. We recapping the year so far of 2025. You're not going to want to miss that episode. It's going to be an amazing episode tomorrow. And then me and Kyle are back on ENT night on Thursday with a brand new top 5. And it's a really fun top 5. So I can't wait for you guys to see that one as well. Kyle, man, we out of here, man. Peace. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed that episode, make sure you head on over to the B-Line Entertainment LLC YouTube channel, where we have so much more for you. We have the B-Line Web Show on Tuesday nights, as well as Straight Through the Ropes Wrestle Talk on Wednesdays, and of course, the B-Line Entertainment Show on Thursday night. Join us and make sure that you hit that like, hit that share, and of course, subscribe with that bell button for the notifications, so you can make sure you're getting all the great content from the B-Line Entertainment LLC. Let's go!